In this podcast episode, Shetty sits down with relationship coach Quinlan Walther to explore the intricate dynamics of love, dating, and relationships. The episode delves deep into the often misunderstood reasons why people repeatedly attract the wrong partners and sheds light on how self-love, emotional maturity, and intentionality pave the way for healthier connections. Quinlan's thoughtful insights dismantle common myths about love and provide practical wisdom for anyone navigating the complex world of romantic relationships. One of the foundational points Quinlan makes is the difference between desiring a relationship and truly being ready to enter one. She compares this to the analogy of never going grocery shopping when you are starving because desperation clouds judgment, causing people to make impulsive choices that don't serve their deeper needs. Quinlan emphasizes the importance of knowing yourself, your values, your desires, your capacity for self-love, before seeking a relationship as a bonus to an already fulfilling life, rather than as a way to fill a void. This readiness involves building what she calls self-trust, a multifaceted foundation that includes curiosity about oneself, emotional capacity to navigate difficult feelings without losing grounding, compassion to accept human flaws, and a committed dedication to personal growth. It is through cultivating these 4 C's that individuals can eventually show up in relationships with authenticity and resilience. Jay highlights the cultural misconception that one must be fully complete before dating, which Quinlan gently challenges. She acknowledges that growth happens both before and during a relationship, but entering with a baseline of self-awareness and willingness to evolve is key. Relationships are not simply for comfort or joy. They are deeply about growth, about offering and receiving reflection that helps partners grow individually and together. Quinlan and Jay agree that relationships inherently demand growth. However, many people enter them with expectations rooted in pleasure, companionship, or validation, rather than a readiness for mutual development. When partners have a growth mindset, feedback is received as an opportunity rather than a threat, strengthening emotional safety and trust. This requires discernment to differentiate between genuine growth opportunities and criticism born from insecurity or ego. Emotional safety is a core pillar in this process, where partners learn to trust each other's intentions and communicate with kindness, even when expressing needs or concerns. Quinlan advises paying close attention to how a potential partner treats others early in the dating phase, as character traits like integrity, kindness, and consistency tend to reflect how they will behave in a committed relationship. Quinlan distinguishes clearly between chemistry and compatibility, asserting that while chemistry, the magic and spark felt between 2 people, is important, compatibility holds the greater weight for sustainable relationships. Compatibility centers on the alignment of values, life visions, and priorities. It isn't about finding someone who mirrors every interest or preference, but about honoring and respecting each other's core beliefs and goals. For example, 2 partners may diverge in personal priorities, such as work and family, but they can thrive if they respect each other's focuses and support individual growth. Misalignment in fundamental values, however, can lead to ongoing conflict and frustration. Quinlan highlights the crucial need for clear boundaries in relationships, explaining that boundaries are not weapons used against others, but protective rules for self-care and self-respect. They clarify what behaviors one will or will not tolerate, helping individuals maintain emotional well-being and fostering honest, accountable partnerships. The episode further explores the challenge of distinguishing between holding a partner accountable and trying to change them. Quinlan notes that people can only change themselves when they are ready and willing. External pressure or criticism usually backfires. Compassionate communication and focusing on one's own growth and responses prove more effective. Both Quinlan and Jay acknowledge the natural human tendency to tolerate bad behavior from those we are deeply attracted to, which often stems from unresolved childhood wounds and attachment patterns. Recognizing these patterns and taking ownership of one's role in them is vital to breaking destructive cycles and cultivating healthier relational habits. The conversation also surfaces the exhaustion many feel around dating. Quinlan encourages either taking breaks from dating to replenish emotional resources or shifting one's perspective away from high-stakes expectations. Reducing pressure allows for more genuine connection and enjoyment of the dating process itself, rather than treating every interaction as a make-or-break moment. Quinlan shares personal vulnerability relating to patterns inherited from family dynamics, especially her relationship with her mother. She emphasizes that while repairing parental relationships is ideal, it is not always possible. Importantly, individuals can meet themselves with the compassion and understanding they might have wished to receive from their caregivers. Addressing these internalized beliefs profoundly influences how people engage romantically. Jay reflects on his own experience of overloving and the pitfalls of imposed expectations and scoreboard mentality in relationships. Together, they stress the value of accountability on both sides and how open, respectful communication about needs and contributions can prevent escalation into blame and withdrawal loops. Throughout the episode, the theme of integrity, both personal and relational, resonates strongly. Quinlan advocates for living within one's values as a guiding law, which creates clarity in how one relates to themselves and others. Being your partner's biggest fan, wanting their best self and success, is presented as a cornerstone of lasting love. They also explore how love as an action, consistently showing up for someone with kindness, attention, and care, is fundamentally different from love as a fleeting feeling. The willingness to do the loving thing amid imperfections and challenges is what sustains relationships over time. From personal heartbreak to the grief of losing a parent, Quinlan describes heartbreak as a deeply transformative catalyst. She urges listeners to allow themselves to grieve fully without rushing and to adopt a more flexible, compassionate narrative about themselves and the breakup. Moving on does not mean forgetting or never caring again, but gradually shifting toward a new chapter built on intentional choices. Instead of seeking a quick fix, Quinlan recommends envisioning what life would look like after having truly moved on and beginning to embody those new patterns each day. Healing is a process marked by small incremental progress rather than overnight change.